Hi everyone, this is Diane. I'm excited to really get into this series of videos that I want to do about my favorite journal making supplies because I love making journals and I love my supplies. I love talking about my supplies. I like looking at and handling my supplies. It's very inspiring to me. And hopefully my videos on my supplies will inspire you to get into your supplies and use them and to know what to look for. I also want to do a video about what to look for at flea markets and estate sales. It might kind of be repetitive because I'm going to show you some things that I buy at the flea markets in this series, but I'd like to do both. Let me know what you think about that. Do you want to see a video about what to look for at flea markets and estate sales, as well as to see what my supplies are that I like to use? So instead of sleeping last night, well, before I slept, and I stayed up too late, I used my pretty notebook that my friend made me. It's a composition book with this pretty cover that Debbie made for me. Thank you, Debbie. And I'm finally putting it to use. So I started making a list of ideas for videos because I keep having ideas and then I don't act on them. So I thought I need to put them in a book so I can go to them and find inspiration on making my next video, besides making journal videos, you know, like the creating and the flipping through of journals. I want to do other types of videos too. So this is my list of favorite supplies, the categories that I'm going to be covering. Today's video is about the tools that I like to use, and I did make lists of 10 for each of the categories. The first one is a big, broad category, and so it covers my table here. It is punches. I love using punches. I love punches. You can get punches from different brands in different places. I like to pretty much like to stick to basic shapes, but I have them in a lot of different sizes. A lot of my punches are from Stampin' Up. Oh, I do want to also say that I need you to remember that I've been doing this crafting thing for many, 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 many years. Before I was doing journals, I was card making, and I went to Stampin' Up parties and had a lot of Stampin' Up parties, and so I have a lot of Stampin' Up supplies that date back from before I even started doing junk journals. So don't feel like you have to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. This is years worth of accumulation, slow accumulation. So anyway, I have a lot of punches, and these black ones are my Stampin' Up. These are the new style of Stampin' Up. This old style of Stampin' Up, I know a lot of people call this the whale tail tab, but it's a whale tail tab because of this. This is the whale tail. So any of the tabs that have that kind of a punch, that kind of a handle, it's a whale tail. But I guess we'll all still keep calling this a whale tail tab because that's what everybody knows it as. But this happens to be my very favorite punch. And I get worried that what happens when it breaks. I'm not going to have it anymore. And I know they're very expensive. If you can get one on eBay, they're expensive. And who knows how much they were used. But I do love this. It still works fine. It's a little bit squeaky sometimes, but I love it. And I use this on a lot of my scraps and have a little container full of different colors of punches. Circles are the next most used. And I have a lot of different sizes of circles. 2.5. I even have a bigger one, I think. Oh no, it's that big. 2.5, 2 inches, 1.25, and then these small ones. I have some itty bitty ones that I didn't bring over here because I don't use them that much. But you need different sizes of circles. You can punch these out to back something that you're making an embellishment with. You can use these to punch. Say this was the top of a pocket, you can just punch to make a little pull, a thumb pull, or you can make it deeper. You can use a bigger one to make a fun wide thumb hole like that, a thumb pull for pulling out your tags. So circles come in very handy. I have a container on the floor so I can move these out as I talked about them, so I have room to show you all the other stuff besides punches. I have some ovals, so they're a basic shape. I have, these are all Stampin' Up, but this was the new style. So I have a scalloped one and this one, and they can layer. I can punch them out and layer, and this can be layered with them also. So different sizes of ovals. And I held off getting a square punch because, I mean, you can just use your paper trimmer and cut a square the size you want it. But it's just so handy to just grab this and punch a square. So I have a 1 1/4 inch square and a scallop square, and they can be layered together. I do have a heart. That's kind of a basic shape, right? So a nice big heart and a little heart. So I like using those. And I do have some flowers. I have a little one, a punch that punches 3 small flowers, which you've probably seen. I use it quite a bit to make little flowers. But I also have these. It's fun to have different sizes and shapes of flowers that you can punch and then layer them together. I like different sizes of punches, so sometimes I need a bigger punch and sometimes I need something small. So I have this one, and I have another one that they might have come in the same set from Stampin' Up, but I don't think they have them anymore. But there's another one that's that size that makes a little pennant shape. And oh, here it is, because I just used it for my Raggedy Ann journals. This style of punch is really handy because you can close it and lock it, so it takes up less room. And then I have 2 sizes of tag shapes so that they can be layered. So that's what I brought over to show you. I do have a few more punches. That was most of the punches, but there are a few more. I have a scallop circle, and I have a few others. So the next category is still punches, but these are border punches. I gave them their own category because they have a different purpose. So these are just, they give you a different kind of border on page edges, pocket edges. You can punch, some of the border punches they would cut like a whole separate strip. Instead of just edge punching, it would just cut a strip, so it would be decorative on one side, and sometimes decorative on both sides. It depends on the punch. But so you can, but either way, I could use this one. This is a wider edge punch, and I could just punch it on a piece of cardstock and then trim the cardstock and make myself a border with it. But again, I started out with just basic shapes with the border punches, like scallops, and this one is an eyelet scallop, and here's another scallop design. I guess I like scallops. This is one of my favorites. Love that one. And this one makes a larger design, and this one is even bigger. And I have more in there's another scallop. And along with this are the corner punches. So I could take a journal card or a pocket or even a page corner, and just make it pretty like that. And this one is neat because it is a photo slot corner. So getting out my supplies like this and showing them to you reminds me to get some of these things out and use them. I have my punches, most of my punches, in a shoe organizer that's hanging on my closet door and right in here in my craft room. But the edge punches and corner punches are in one of my plastic drawer units, and sometimes it's a pain to open up that plastic drawer and find the punch I want. So I don't use them as much as I should. The next item I have on my list is a paper crimper. I almost didn't put this on because I don't use it that much, but it is an item that I would not want to get rid of. It's an item that I want to remember to use more. And I didn't even put this one on my list for the same reason. I love it, I want to use it. I just don't think of it all the time. So I'm putting these together. That's probably cheating. That is a sewing machine foot. It got stuck in there. So if you don't know what a paper crimper is, this poor little piece is getting used for everything. Just slip a piece of paper in between the two rollers and squeeze it and put it through, and then you get this corrugated paper, crimped paper. And I think it's awesome, and why don't I use it? I have it right here by my desk, but it's on my project cart, and it's on one of the lower trays, so I don't see it all the time. And the same with this. This is on the same tray. So it's an envelope punch board, and it makes it easy for you to make envelopes out of scrapbook paper, book pages, anything you want. So that's down to number 3. Number 4 is my eyelet setter. I know a lot of people use the Big Bite or the Crocodile and set their eyelets with these. I have trouble doing it with these. I probably should practice and get better at it, but I really like doing it this way. So I just have an eyelet setter, or it's a hole maker, and I use this so that it doesn't make holes in my table, and put the eyelet down and use my little hammer to make the hole, and then I have to take that out and put another piece in it that will actually set the eyelet when I use my hammer. And this is something else I have for the bigger ones. So my eyelet setters, of course, and the eyelets, but this is the tool part. The eyelets are the supply part. I forgot to mention these with the corner punches. Now, I did a video already on my basic supplies, and the basic supplies included my corner rounder. I use that constantly, and sometimes I use this one. That's a corner rounder also, and it works with sturdier things. But I also have this one with a deco edge and a stub edge. So I like that also for corner punches. So that should have been with my punches category. All right, eyelet setters. And then another little tool is a Pokey tool. I don't know the technical name for this, but I have a couple different varieties, and I use these, of course, for punching holes in my signatures and my spines so that I can sew my signatures into my journals. These are both from Tim Holtz. I believe they're Tonic. Yeah, Tonic Studios by Tim Holtz. And you can see it gets, from your thumb being on it all the time, it starts wearing away the material there. This one doesn't get used as much. So I have one with my journal binding supplies, and I keep one in here because sometimes I need to just poke a hole in something. So I want one in my room here, and this is another one. This one came from Stampin' Up, and you just take the little rubber tip off. So I use those a lot. That could be considered a basic tool. Another tool is a big one, a bigger one, but I love this. It's one of my favorite things, and it's a Big Shot. And this is a pretty one. I don't know if this says Sizzix Big Shot on it, and this one might have been made for Stampin' Up. It doesn't say Stampin' Up on it, so I don't know. Oh no, it wasn't. This one wasn't made for Stampin' Up. But anyway, isn't it pretty? I think it's pretty. It's not just your basic black one. So along with this comes all the stuff. This one comes with a lot of baggage. So this is, you put your platform in here and then run it through, and it does cutting or embossing, and sometimes both at the same time. So these are some of the tools that go with the Big Shot. So in this basket, I have this in a desk drawer. It fits in there just like this, in the desk drawer where I keep my Big Shot. And I have a lot of basic shapes again, this shape, and circles, ovals, and I don't know where they are. I took all those basics out, like my nesting ovals and circles and the top note designs and things like that. I took them out of this basket because it was getting full, and I don't remember where I put them when I organized, so I've got to find them. But, and then I have fun things like little envelopes. That's a little tag pocket, doily shapes. This one has punctuation, some lacy shapes, lacy borders, all kinds. I just love dies. I haven't used that one yet. I think I got this one in a Happy Mail, and this one too, butterfly, and this one. I think I got this in a Happy Mail. Isn't that fun? I haven't used it yet, but I want to. Some labels, some flowers, some tag shapes. Oh, here's my top notes. Okay, so I have those. So this is 2 different shapes. I just put them all together because when I want something like this, I'll use, it's got 3 different shapes, but different sizes of each of those different shapes, but they're all together. A little gift card envelope, some more flowers. This is slotted. This is one of my favorites, the Tim Holtz stitch slot. Some flowers, you know, so just whatever. There's some tabs here, so if you don't have a tab punch, you might be able to find some tab dies. I've got some gears, some more label-y things, a Polaroid and a film strip, some numbers, some banners and hearts and things, and some arrows. I love my arrows too. So sometimes if I'm cutting something that's a little bit bigger and I have space on my sheet, on my platform, I'll put some of these little things, the numbers or the arrows, I'll add them to it and get some of those punched out while I'm at it. So those are things that you use for cutting with the Big Shot. These I have for cutting and embossing. These are the 3D, and I love these. I've got quite a few of them. My favorites are these medallions. I have the round ones and the oval ones. And I like the leaves too. I like them all. So I really love these 3D embosslets, and they're by Tim Holtz. I don't know if it's Ranger or, I think it is Ranger. Sizzix. It's from Sizzix because, well, it goes with the Big Shot. Well, he has his own embossing machine, which I don't. Here's another. Oh, I also have, this is just for a envelope, like a coin envelope. And I also have some of these original thick, I forgot what these are called, steel die. These are steel rule die. And I have some of these because most of them were given to me from a friend who was giving up paper crafting. So this one has different flowers. It's a tattered floral, and this one has a little scalloped envelope. You would fold these flaps in and make a little envelope out of it. So this is another thing I need to remember to use. These are all in the bottom drawer of that desk, and I forget about them. So I want to have a Big Shot session where I'm cutting out a bunch of stuff. And then in addition to cutting with the Big Shot, you can emboss with the Big Shot. So it comes with embossing folders. This cuts leaves, ferns and stuff. That was one of my new ones. So this one, you can get sets. This one is Stampin' Up, but other companies make them too, where you can stamp your image and then put the die over the image and cut them out. But here we have some embossing folders. I love this one. It looks like a tin ceiling. This one is called Tin Tie. And some of the embossing folders are deeper, and they're called 3D, or, oh, I forgot what the other terminology is, what Stampin' Up calls them. But they're deeper, they're thicker, and they make a deeper etching. So I have, let me show you. These are too big to fit in my folder. But my binder, this is a binder I bought a long time ago at AC Moore. I don't even think AC Moore is a store anymore, is it? I don't know. I never go to Vestal anymore, which is where I used to go to AC Moore, but I think it closed. Anyway, this holds embossing folders. And I have quite a few. This is a new one. I think, did I get this in a Happy Mail? Or did I buy this one? I don't remember. I think I just bought this at Hobby Lobby, actually. So I've got all different kinds. I got some of these in a Happy Mail. So this binder is pretty thick. I don't think I can put any more in here. There's room for 2 more, but I don't know. I don't have to zip it. It's not like I carry it anywhere. And I keep it under the desk, like in the well where your feet would go if you were sitting there, but I never sit at that desk. So I store stuff there. And I have number 9 is my Cricut, which is another big thing. I did not bring that in here. It's an electric cutting tool, and I have the old style where you have to have the cartridge, and it's not the digital kind that you have to have Wi-Fi, internet, and a device to set up your cutting, and then you put your materials in and cut. I don't know how to do that. I do have that machine, but I don't know how to use it. But I have the old one, and I love it. I love my Cricut, my cartridges, and I love making things with my Cricut. I'm kind of mad at it right now, though, because I've been having some trouble with it. Not with the machine. Well, I don't know. It doesn't, like, cut through the paper enough for it to come off, and it's got a brand new blade, and it's got set at the deepest cutting level. So I've got to play around with it when I'm not going to be impatient and frustrated with it. And lastly, I put pinking shears on my list of things. So these are my paper ones, and these I got at a flea market. So they're old and they are not comfortable to use. They hurt my hand if I use them too much. But they work on paper, and after I got them, since they didn't work on, you see that edge, after they didn't work on fabric, I actually bought a pair. I don't have a piece of fabric here, but when Joann's had all of their scissors on sale, because pinking shears, fabric shears are expensive, and pinking shears are even more. But they were on sale, and so I splurged and bought these a couple years ago, and I love using them. So that is number 10. So I hope that was okay, showing you all those different things so quickly and making noise with the clattering. But the punches, the tab punch, the circles and basic shapes, edge punches and corner punches, the paper crimper, and I brought out the envelope punch board along with that, eyelet setters, my Pokey tools, my Big Shot with its dies and embossing folders, my Cricut, and my pinking shears. Those are my top 10 tools. Oh, I should probably include this. I use this constantly also. That's a top tool. And I use brayers a lot. So yeah, my list could get very, very long. So what are your top 10 tools? Do you find this informative and helpful in knowing what you might want to look for? Excuse me, I'm getting hoarse. My next favorite supplies video, the next one in my notebook, is the kinds of papers that I use in journals. So maybe I'll do that one for the next video in this series. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories, and I thought of another one. So it's going to be a pretty decent sized series. Thanks for watching, and please leave a comment below. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and please subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos like this, and creating videos where I'm actually doing some creating and showing the pieces that I make. I hope that you are having a creative day today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.